Yes,
Pleasure.
uh,
Thanks very much.
Tata Consumer is the stock in our focus, of course, today after its numbers. There was good recovery in gross margins on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Sunil D'Souza, MD and CEO of Tata Consumer, is now joining us. Sunil, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us. The big issue that the market wants to address right now is what's happening with the tea prices. Going forward, what's the outlook on that, and how would that impact your margins?
So before I answer about the tea prices itself and how that impacts margin, just like to say that I think we delivered a very decent quarter. To put it in perspective, compared to many of the other companies around, we are cycling a very, very strong quarter. Last year, the same quarter, our EBIT was up by 43%. So in light of that, I think the top line that we delivered, especially with the India businesses, where beverages was up 28, foods was up 20. The softness was on account of the international business, more expected because we were cycling the COVID-induced pantry loading of last year. On the margins front, overall company margins primarily affected, as you rightly pointed out, by tea. But three things to keep in mind here, and that's why we feel very comfortable about our way forward. We've seen this probably once in 5, once in 10 years sort of spike in tea prices. Q2 of last year was the peak. After that, it has started coming down. Small blips here and there, but secular trend downwards. And that you can see in our margins. Just on India tea business itself, our margins went from 19 to 21 to this quarter. We ended up at 26. And we'll continue the upward trend, coming back to normalcy probably in a couple of quarters at the maximum. So we feel good about that. On top of that, the top line continues to remain strong. So this whole fine balance of price actions that we've taken along with tea prices going down, I think will stand us in good stead. But more importantly, during the quarter, I think the basic building blocks that we've put in place and the execution parameters lead us to greater confidence. So working capital down by 2 days, free cash flow if I offset for one-timers at 101% of EBITDA. Outlets, we had said direct outlets will deliver 1 million outlets by September. We are at 820,000 outlets last quarter, so well on track. We've driven innovation. India brand building, we had committed to provide fuel and brands. Our A&P in India is up by 41%. Our e-commerce is now up to 7% of our mix, growing by some 150%. Institutional system, which we had put in, up by 140%. Market share. Tea market share up by 170%, and salt market share, which you thought might not go much higher, up by 370 basis points. All in all, we feel pretty good about where we are, and with the tea prices coming down, with the graduated price hikes that we've taken, pretty confident of our way forward.
Sunil, that's what I wanted to know. I mean, the earnings have been very good so far. But if you look at the India food business, even in Q1 and in the full year, you've done almost an 18 to 20% growth. For the full year of FY22, is this a growth that you can sustain? Because the base is also moving higher, just particularly for the India food business. And, what kind of sort of reasonable growth rates could we expect?
So I would say strong double digits is the number that I would put on the table for 2 reasons. Number one is salt itself. We are now about a 33-34% share, and the other players are still low single digits. So we are ahead of the pack, and we are able to execute to the T. That's number one. Number two, on the salt pieces, as I've always mentioned, we are growing both on the premium side. The premium portfolio grew again this quarter by 34%, and the mass side, where we are going to mainly the southern markets, which are under-penetrated for Tata Salt per se. So there we will see strong growth. And then the Sampann portfolio. Sampann portfolio, yes, this quarter was a growth of 12, but remember we are cycling a growth of 49% last year. So pretty good numbers, and it's already up to 20 plus in July. So numbers coming back very strongly. The food business will fire on all cylinders.
The food and especially the beverage business, Mr. D'Souza, I can tell you Sonia and I contribute handsomely to that with our, of course, liking for the Starbucks coffee. But, on a serious note, just to get back to the margin, issue, you said that the tea price sort of escalation, that should start evening out. So on a margin basis, last year, same quarter, you were at about 17.5%, 18%. This year, I mean, year on year, there's been this sharp drop. By when should we expect margins to normalize? And on a full year basis, will margins be better than FY21? Similar, some idea?
So like I said, we see, I mean, the biggest impact on the margins is because of the India beverages business. If you look at international, minor blip here, there, foods business, minor blip here, there. The primary impact on the whole company margins is driven by India beverages, which is because of tea prices. Like I said, two things happened. We've taken graduated price increases and tea prices coming down. So max in a couple of quarters, we should be back to normalcy. And we will come out much stronger, given the fact that we will come out on a much stronger share, A, much stronger premium portfolio, B, and much more better systems on execution in the market.
You said a couple of quarters, sir. That means the tea pressure would continue perhaps in Q2 as well, and we should be prepared for that margin drawdown in what, Q2 and Q3?
Quarter on quarter, you should expect to see sequential improvement. Okay. And significant improvement, I would say.
Okay, that's good to know. We always talk about this quarter and the next, but if you can give us a little bit of a bird's eye view on what the next big trigger will be for Tata Consumer, because a lot of it seems to already been digested by the market. Your revenue profile has gone up from almost 7,000 crores way back in FY17. Now you're sitting on a revenue base of 11,600 crores. What is the next big trigger for the company, and how much could the revenue profile improve to?
So let me leave you with, I've got enough pressure from my board and my internal team on the numbers rather than the outside-in pressure, so to speak. Just to recap, Tata Consumer was formed to fulfill the aspirations of the Tata Group in the FMCG space, and we're just about getting started. I think the last 12 to 15 months have been focused on putting the systems together, building the execution systems, getting the distribution funnel in order, putting our brand portfolio there. But remember, we are going to expand our portfolio both organically and inorganically. Organically, you would see some moves already being made. Inorganically, we've done two quick acquisitions in the last 1 year. We've done NourishCo, and by the way, NourishCo, despite all the lockdowns that happened, has grown by 90% in the last quarter. Soulfull, we just finished the integration end of last quarter, and now you will see growth coming out of Soulfull. And going forward, we aim to be a larger F&B and larger FMCG company. So I would say watch this space both organically as well as inorganically.
By the way, the Bank Nifty is now up 360 points, so big move happening on that. 1% higher, big moves in individual stocks. So you said watch out for moves. Are there any potential targets that you have identified, Sunil?
See, I mean, we've clearly defined the fields of play that we want to play in. We've defined the platforms that we will operate in, and therefore we are extremely focused. In those platforms, some of the pieces we can do organically, some of that we cannot do organically, and we are looking at inorganic options. At any point of time, we're juggling about 3 to 4 different options on the table. As I've said earlier, any acquisition that we make has to pass both the financial filter as well as the strategic filter. If it passes both of them and we see our ability to integrate and execute and leverage synergies out of that, I think you will not see us hesitating. We're still sitting with, despite paying an increased dividend last year, we are again sitting with about 2,100 crores of net cash on our balance sheet. So firepower, not an issue. Ambition, not an issue. It's just that we've got to find the right mix to start moving.
Okay. Just looking at the contribution of e-commerce, it's 7.3% of sales in FY21. That's a slight increase over last year. I'm just wondering how you see this play out, how much more will come in from the e-channel, and also in terms of, more rollouts. Do you have a big plan for Starbucks this year?
So let me answer the two questions separately. We do see the consumer moving towards digital, moving towards online, both in terms of media consumption as well as commercial transactions. So a significant part of our media, we've already moved to digital. And for online, again, now we are focused on growing e-commerce. From a 2.5% when we started off about 15, 18 months back, we are now up to 7% of contribution coming from e-commerce. I think it's going to touch double digits very quickly. And again, e-commerce, we are playing in two pieces. We are playing on the platforms with our whole portfolio, and then we are playing with our own websites. We've got NutriCorner, which is our flagship store, offering the entire portfolio of Tata Consumer, rolled out in 2 cities as of now, Bombay, Delhi. Apart from that, we've created D2C brands. We've rolled out Tata Coffee Sonnets, a micro lot coffee. Tata 1868, curated, exclusive teas, and then of course 8 o'clock. So we're playing the whole gamut. Double digit, I think very quickly is what you'll see in terms of contribution. On Starbucks per se, yes, we will continue to expand stores. We've got aggressive targets. Even last year, despite whatever it is, we've still added close to about 45-50 stores, which was equal to the year before. This year also, we've got an ambitious target. It's just that during the second wave of the lockdown, we could not complete the entire work that was done, that was needed to be done to make sure that the stores were in running condition. But now going forward, I think you'll see stores opening in quick succession.
Okay, that is great news for coffee addicts like us. Thanks a lot for joining us and all the best for the quarters to come. That's the word coming in from Tata Consumer. Very, very optimistic actually. They say that double-digit growth will continue in the India foods business, and there seems to be a V-shaped recovery in the month of June. Well, just look at the markets. Continues to hold on to its ground. We were wondering when 16,000 would be here. Now 16,300 is almost here. That's the kind of pace that this market is moving at. But let's take a quick break on that note. On the other side of the break, two gentlemen will be joining in. This is their first interview. The Gen Next of Amara Raja Batteries, Harshvardhan Gauraneni and Vikramaditya Gauraneni, the executive directors of Amara Raja Batteries, will be joining in to discuss their foray into the new energy businesses. Stay tuned.